Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Rādhā Madhava Kunjabikari Gopijana Vallabha Girivarakari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Madhava Kunjabikari Gopijana Vallabha Girivarakari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatiravanachari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Rādhā Madhā, Rādhā Madhā, Rādhā Madhā, Jaya Rādhā Madhā. Panchatattva Jaya Panchatattva Panchatattva Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Jaya Nrisimhade Jaya Prabhupada Maharaj Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Ashtatarashatashri Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī Gosvāmī Abhaya Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai Jaya Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Ashtatarashatashri Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī Gosvāmī Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Maharaja Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Śrīla Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Om Prese Kaho Śrī Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Śrī Advaita Gadadhara, Śrīvāsadi Gora, Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Śrī Rādhā Madhava, Gopi Gopinath, Rādhā Kunda, Śyama Kunda, Giri Govardhana Ki Jai, Vrindavana Madhura Dama Ki Jai, Mayapura Navadvipa Dama Ki Jai, Ganga Maya Yamuna Maya Ki Jai, Tulsi Maharani, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Nitai Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri, Shri, Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Śrīla Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Together. Shaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Nashta Prayesha Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Om Agyanam Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupa Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sahadvaitam Savadutam Parijanam Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Rādhā Kṛṣṇa Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bantu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Śrī Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Śrīvāsadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So today we continue our wonderful discussion on Radhashtami, on Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, trying to glorify here, trying to please here, and to please all here devotees. It's very important. Radharani is pleased when here devotees are pleased. As Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami mentioned, tiny birds can fly in the unlimited high sky according to its capacity. Not more than this. So we will try today say something to be able to glorify Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī for her pleasure and for the pleasure of all of you, as this tiny bird flying in the unlimited sky. And today for a discussion, we took the verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. I think it's on the board. Try to open it. So it's a wonderful description of confidential reasons for Lord Chaitanya to appear in this world. And there, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami profoundly, very deeply explains the tattva, Radha tattva, because it's very important for us to understand tattva first. Without Radha, Krishna tattva, tattva of the lila, we cannot enter this lila. It will be very artificial, and it will be like a cartoon. Seeing cartoon is very good, but it's very entertaining. It's just very lightly for us to accept this vision of their pastimes as if we seen cartoon for entertainment of some children. So we would like to start today with Radha Tattva. And this is Adi Lila, chapter 4, text 56. Is it on the board? Okay. Rādhā Kṛṣṇa ek ātmā dui deha dhari. Anyonye vilase rasa āsvādana kari. Rādhā Kṛṣṇa ek ātmā dui deha dhari. Anyonye vilase rasa āsvādana kari. Rādhā Kṛṣṇa ek ātmā dui deha dhari. Anyonye vilase rasa āsvādana kari. Anyonye vilase rasa āsvādana kari. Rādhā Kṛṣṇa ek ātmā dui deha dhari. Anyonye vilase rasa āsvādana kari. Rādhā Kṛṣṇa ek ātmā dui deha dhari. Anyonye vilase rasa āsvādana kari. Rādhā Kṛṣṇa ek ātmā dui deha dhari. anyonye vilase rasa āsvādana kari. Rādhā-kṛṣṇa eka ātmā deha dhari. Anyonye vilase rasa āsvādana kari. Rādhā-kṛṣṇa eka ātmā deha dhari. Anyonye vilase rasa āsvādana kari. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai. Rādhā and Kṛṣṇa are one and the same in their identity, but they have assumed two bodies. Thus, they enjoy each other, tasting the mellows of love. We can repeat together. Rādhā and Kṛṣṇa are one and the same in their identity, but they have assumed two bodies. Thus, they enjoy each other, tasting the mellows of love. Purport. The two transcendentalists, Rādhā and Kṛṣṇa, are a puzzle to materialists. The above description of Rādhā and Kṛṣṇa from the diary of Śrīla Svarūpa Dāmodara Gosvāmī is a condensed explanation, but one needs great spiritual insight to understand the mystery of these two personalities. One is the join into. Śrī Kṛṣṇa is a potent factor, and Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī is the internal potency. According to Vedānta philosophy, there is no difference between the potent and the potency. They are identical. We cannot differentiate between one and the other, any more than we can separate fire from heat. Everything in the absolute is inconceivable in relative existence. Therefore, in relative cognizance, it's very difficult to assimilate this truth of the oneness between the potent and the potency. The philosophy of inconceivable oneness and difference, propounded by Lord Chaitanya, is the only source of understanding for such intricacies of transcendence. In fact, Radharani is the internal potency of Śrī Kṛṣṇa, and she eternally intensifies the pleasure of Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Impersonalists cannot understand this without the help of a Mahabhagavata devotee. The very name Radha suggests that Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī is eternally the topmost mistress of the comfort of Śrī Kṛṣṇa. As such, she is a medium transmitting the living entity's service to Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Devotees in Vrindavan therefore seek the mercy of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī in order to be recognized as loving servitors of Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Once more, the translation. Rādhā and Kṛṣṇa are one and the same in their identity, but they have assumed two bodies. Thus, they enjoy each other, tasting the mellows of love. So it's very important to understand the logic of this verse. So Rādhā and Kṛṣṇa is one person, but they, dharas, they holders of two bodies. They assume two bodies. For which purpose? And the last line in this verse says about it, anyonye, vilase, rasa, āsvādana, kara, to be able to relish the mellows of love, the mellows of rasa, wonderful loving exchange between them. And there is no point in time when we can trace them staying separate from each other. They always together, but still they separated themselves. To be what? To be the ashraya or the source of love, the abode of love, and to be vishaya, the recipient of this love. So the subject and the object of love. They have to be there. Like we can now analyze this wonderful relationship between Radha and Krishna, this loving exchange between them. Krishna is rasa vai saha. Rasa vai saha. Saha. He, vai, is rasa. He is rasa. Rasa vai saha. And what is rasa? The rasa, that's blissful mellows of loving exchange, of loving reciprocation between the Lord and his devotee. So, rasa is bliss of the relationship with the Lord. And if Krishna is rasa, that means, who is he? The sweet taste of the relationship with himself. Is it understood? He is the sweet taste of the relationship with himself. He doesn't have this rasa, he is this rasa. So it's very difficult, actually, totally bewildering, this concept, all right? So, and also, we will come to this. And also, who is he more? He is rasika, right? Someone who tastes this rasa, who enjoys this rasa. And as such, he wants to taste this wonderful relationship with himself. And when this desire comes into his mind, something happens. And very poetically, Shastras explains that he explodes. Literally speaking, explodes. Because this condensed ananda, or Svarūpa Ananda, the ananda of his personal form, wonderful form of the Lord, is such intense, is such dynamic that this ananda can't stay inside. And to be able to enjoy this ananda, it has to come out. And this ananda comes out as Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. That's her identity. He is ananda of this personal form of the Lord. Thus, through Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, Krishna can enjoy his own ananda. As soon as Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī appears, the transcendental competitions start. What is this? Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī is the personification of this wonderful quality of enjoying the sweetness of Krishna. He is greatest relisher of the sweetness of Krishna. That's her identity. That's her main service, to relish each drop of a drop of a drop of a drop of the personality of Krishna. And it's an ocean, you know, right? But ocean consists of tiny drops. So Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, relisher, greatest relisher of all the devotees, he sees in Krishna everything, all his sweetness, up to the, you know, some small portions, some small particles of this sweetness. And who is Krishna? He is a sweetness personified. So as soon Radha comes out, they become separated eternally, then Radha starts appreciating Krishna's wonderful sweetness. And what is next? Krishna, seeing how Radha enjoys, how Radha really understands his wonderful qualities, and how she displays the feelings towards these qualities. Because if we appreciate something, we will feel something. And these feelings, they coming out naturally as different ecstasies. Therefore, bhakti, that's ecstasy. Bhakti, that's bhavas. Bhavas are a combination of different ecstasies. So Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī is such a relisher that with her external manifestation of these feelings towards the Lord, he makes him completely mad. When Krishna sees how Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī relishing him with this display of wonderful emotions, bouquets of this emotion, like Kila Kinchita, he gets mad. And thus the eternal competition takes place in their relationship. Like as soon as Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī already absorbed this sweetness, already serves with her love this sweetness of Krishna, Krishna seeing that his sweetness already taken, already accepted, appear new sweetness, new portion of this sweetness. And again, Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, like an eternal, transcendental sponge, she immediately takes this sweetness. And again, Krishna is without any sweetness, that new portion comes out. So like this, transcendental competition between the sweetness of Krishna and the loving propensity of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī to accept the sweetness, to relish the sweetness, to absorb the sweetness, takes place eternally. That's the essence of the loving relationship. So Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī gives such a pleasure to Krishna that to reciprocate with her love, her ability to see these wonderful qualities and to appreciate, he assumes most wonderful form. And this is form and of with four madhuryas, four sweet characteristic or qualities. That's prema madhurya, lila madhurya, venu madhurya, and drupa madhurya. And drupa madhurya, that's main characteristic of Krishna, the main opulence of Krishna, from which all other qualities and opulences of Krishna sprouts. So it's rupa madhurya of Krishna. And as such Madhava, we can see how beautiful he is on the altar. That's a masterpiece of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. No other place where Madhava takes this wonderful, most sweet form in which he manifests all his sweetness. Not in Mathura, not in Dwaraka, not in any other place, what to say about Vaikuntha planets. So he doesn't accept such wonderful form. Why? Because the form that's reciprocation to the loving relationship with him, Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. To be able to reciprocate with her, he assumes a sima. It's called sima. That's the limit of sweetness, this form of Krishna. And he takes this form only in Vrindavan. True. Confirmed. So that's sima form. Why? Because the love of his devotee in other places not so intense, not so overwhelming. And to reciprocate with the love of his devotee in some other places, no need to show all his sweetness. Only with all his sweetness he can reciprocate with the love of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. And Srila Prabhupada elaborates more on this competition. So what is this competition between sweetness of Krishna and ability to love this sweetness by Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī? More can be said about this, and Srila Prabhupada said about this in the same chapter in one of the Purport, 185. When the gopis see Lord Krishna, they derive unboundless bliss, although they have no desire for such pleasure. Although they don't want to enjoy, they don't want any happiness from their relationship with the Lord, because their idea, their inclination, just to serve Him with their beauty. So despite of them not wanting this happiness, somehow it's there, right there, because they so much satisfy Lord Krishna. Usually in the material world, just opposite happen. We desire something, and it may or may not happen, right? According to us, if we deserve, then it will come. If we don't deserve, it will not come. But here is opposite. Gopis don't desire anything, but still it's coming, right? Some controversy is here, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned. And for this contradiction, I see only one solution. The joy of the gopis lies in the joy of their beloved Krishna. When Lord Krishna sees the gopis, his joy increases, and his unparalleled sweetness increases also. So some gopis can give this pleasure to Krishna to some extent, some to more extent, and some other gopis, like confidants of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, the main principal gopis, they give Krishna up to the level of Mahabhava, this satisfaction in their sweet dealings. But Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, because she is the topmost devotee, she is able to satisfy Krishna in all regards, up to the highest level, the level of Mahabhava. It's Adiruddha Mahabhava. And when Krishna sees her wonderful emotions, he falls in swoon. He cannot stay, he's breathless, literally speaking. When Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī say, in the peak of her feelings of Mahabhava, feel all these ashtasattvika vikaras, and they manifest in her body like sudipta, very bright, like tears flowing from the eyes, hair stand on end, the choked voice, that stunned in ecstasy, so many other of them, like simultaneously. They appear Adiruddha Mahabhava, that's appearance of all ashtasattvika vikaras simultaneously. And two more symptoms are there, which so like overwhelming for Krishna to see. That's Udurna, the complete bewilderment, when Śrīmatī Rādhā, overwhelmed with all these feelings, loses herself, loses her identity. The very identity of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, even as a lover of Krishna, is lost. So Krishna, seeing her in such a state, actually, for him it's greatest pleasure. And then that's Ujgurna, and another Chitrajalpa, that's another characteristic of this Mahabhava. And only Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī is on the level of Madana Mahabhava, is all these wonderful symptoms. And Chitrajalpa, the different mad talks. We can see it reading of a wonderful exchange of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī with a bumblebee. We remember Jalpa, Pratijalpa, so 10 of them, 10 different divisions of these Jalpas are there in her. So when Krishna hears this, he's totally overwhelmed. He gives himself to Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, and he becomes her property. Aham bhakta paradina, I am the property of my devotees. I am not independent, I am āsvādana. Aham āsvādana. So Krishna is supremely independent, right? And nobody is there to control him or to give some direction to him what to do, how to do. But here, he's totally seeing the appreciation in the heart of the devotees, his wonderful qualities like Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, he gives totally himself. And the happiness which she derives from seeing his wonderful sweetness becomes his happiness. Srila Prabhupada elaborates on this more. The solution to this perplexity is that Śrī Kṛṣṇa's sense of happiness is based on the happiness of the gopis. Devotee at Vrindavan therefore tried to serve the gopis, namely Radharani and her associates. If one gains the favor of the gopis, he easily gains the favor of Krishna, because on the recommendation of the gopis, Krishna at once accepts the service of the gopi. It's also very important for us to understand, as Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj mentioned in another verse, that Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī gives pleasure not just to Krishna in this loving exchange, but also nourishes with the same ananda his devotees. He is a nourisher. And because as Hladini Shakti, she nourishes the heart of the devotee endowed with Hladini, because all of us, we are Hladini consuming living entities, so Satchit and Ananda. But Nimbarka Acharya says that when the living entity comes into contact with the matter, what happens? The level of Ananda and Chit potencies, like, or energy of cognizance and pleasure from the relationship with the Lord shrink. up to few drops, only few drops left for us in this material world from chit and ananda potencies. Why? Because we don't need this chit. What is chit? The energy of cognizance, or energy which supports the identity, the eternal identity of the living entity. What is our identity? That I am a servant, right? If chit is shrinked, if this knowledge is shrinked, then no more the identity is being supported by this knowledge. Therefore, living entity is very easily taken the identity of the body which is given to this living entity by material nature. I am not the servant anymore because I don't know anything about it. Avidya is there covering the living entity, but who am I? I'm a servant of my body who gratifies me so much, right? So no need in this chit. Therefore chit shrink, and ananda, because if I have the same ananda if that I have in the spiritual world, then what I'm doing here, right? How can I survive here with the absence of ananda, literally speaking? So, like this. But when, on the level of bhava bhakti, when the relationship with the Lord already opened, and then when the energy of Svarupa Shakti comes into heart of the living entity, then this chit and ananda level restored to the original level, because only with this level of great ananda and a great energy which supports the identity that I am a servant, I can have the relationship with the Lord. Otherwise, I cannot. With such ananda, with such knowledge about my servitorship to the Lord, I cannot survive in this relationship. So to be able to maintain the relationship with the Lord, these two Shaktis are given to us back. So, how Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī manifests in our life, it's also profoundly described by Krishnadas Kaviraj Gosvāmī in the same chapter 4, verse 62 in the Purport. He says, one can enter the spiritual kingdom for what? To associate with the Supreme Personality of God. In which way? Reciprocate the Hladini potency in transactions between him and the Lord. It's very profound. That means Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī is a means to have this relationship, to reciprocate with the Lord in loving exchange. What is given? Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, the energy of pleasure. What is taken is Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. That's our connection to the Lord in our loving exchange. It's very interesting. That's her mercy. Otherwise, how we can get it? So we exchange Hladini Shakti, which Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī embodies with the Lord, to be able to give him happiness. So, what does it take to have this such sweet relationship between us, with Rādhā and Kṛṣṇa? It takes depths of our bhakti. Without the depths, our bhakti, we cannot have neither Rādhā nor Kṛṣṇa's association. So we know that there is a wonderful explanation of the ocean of bhakti given in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And there is more to add to this analogy. At the beginning, we have our bhakti and we are on the surface of this bhakti. We don't have the waves of ecstasy there yet. But what we have, because this devotion is mixed, so modes of nature are there. So influenced by these modes of nature, our devotional service is endowed with the waves. waves appear, and they toss us. These waves, although it's bhakti already, but it's the beginning, and these waves toss us. They take us around, and we're struggling with them. Although it's bhakti, but it's the beginning of bhakti. The waves in our devotion is there because of the modes of nature. So we struggle to maintain ourselves on the surface, to not be drawn, to not be swayed away by the waves. So we want to stay on the surface, therefore struggle is there. And all this so-called material unhappiness in our devotional service is the beginning stage. What to do? Who swam in the ocean? Did you go to the ocean sometimes? Did you swim there? Did you swim in the ocean? In some sea? In some river? Some of us, we go to the ocean, we swim there. So we can feel this, right? We struggle to be on the surface of this waves, to not be drowned, to not be taken away by these waves. But when we dive deeply, when we in the depths of this water, then a totally different state of our emotions there. We are not struggling anymore because the water inside, when we deeply observe in our devotion, the water inside actually supports us and we can feel it, no more struggle. For this we have to dive deep. And it's called already Vishuddha Sattva. On the level of Vishuddha Sattva, in the deep water of our bhakti and the ocean of bhakti there, then we can meet Krishna. But for this, it's happening, how this Ananda comes into our life through devotional service, especially through Shravanam and Kirtanam, and then during darshan with the Lord in the temple. Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī as Ananda comes from the side of Krishna, from the eyes of Krishna, and bestows upon us the same Ananda. So that's what we discuss in the beginning. We exchange Ananda with the Lord. And this karma, spiritual love, and oath with Ananda comes from the Lord, and we are recipients of this love as well. So our heart opens because of this Ananda, and also gives Ananda to the Lord. Śrīla Prabhupada says that greatest desires for any devotional service manifest in our heart on the darshan of the Lord. When we face the Lord, when we face the beauty of the Lord, immediately karma coming from the eyes of the Lord, as Vishwanath Chakravarti says, brings about, like takes out our Ananda, which we immediately manifest in the desire to serve. If Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī is already there will be desire to give pleasure to the Lord. Without experiencing the potency of enjoyment, hladini potency, we cannot even desire to please the Lord. So the very desire to please the Lord becomes when Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī descends on the level of Bhava Bhakti in our heart. Then we desire. And when Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī appears, she was lifeless. There was no any functions in her body. Her senses didn't function at all. She was dumb, she was deaf and blind. Why? There was no Krishna around, there was no exchange with him. The same happened with Balaram. When he appeared like 8 days before Krishna, he couldn't even move before Krishna appeared. He is the strongest, but couldn't even move slightly without seeing Krishna. That's how we need Krishna in our life. So what to say about other living entity? They don't experience any happiness. What they feel, what they can be in, that's perverted reflection of this happiness which exists there in the spiritual world between us. In exchange with this Ananda, in loving exchange with the Lord. And what is the identity of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī? We can return to this. So, as our Acharya says, she is a Svarūpa Shakti of the Lord. She is a part of this Svarūpa Shakti of the Lord, pleasure-giving potency. Actually, she is everything. She is Sarva Shakti. Not even one Shakti which she is not consist of. So all the Shaktis are in here. But for here, she has chosen Ananda or Hladini Shakti to be represented with. That's her personal choice, because Ananda, that's the essence of the relationship between any living entities and the Supreme Lord. And Ananda gives a great bliss to the Lord. So for herself, he has chosen this. And Hladini Shakti, when she enters into the heart, she brings love. So the love, prema, is a transformation of Hladini Shakti. And the synonym of Hladini Shakti, the love of God, is prema. And the essence of prema is bhava, or emotions. And the essence of bhava is mahabhava, or the highest manifestation of these different wonderful emotions or bhavas or ecstasies in the heart of the devotee, which come out, and wonderful anubhavas, wonderful feelings, wonderful activities. So she is a pleasure-giving potency, and also she is a personification of prema. She is prema personified, and also she is the embodiment of devotional service or bhakti devi, with which this prema appears, manifest. This prema manifested through devotional service. How we know that prema is, the devotional service will be proper for it. It will manifest in some particular form to express this prema. That's how they connected. Hladini Shakti, the product of Hladini Shakti prema, and the means to express the prema, the devotional service. So that everything, this is Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. She is pleasure-giving potency. She is prema herself, Kevala prema, Vraja prema, and she is devotional service or bhakti devi, through which this prema manifests. And this is a lesson for us, because we discuss how Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī likes Krishna, how she appreciates every drop of the personality of Krishna. We can learn from Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī how to appreciate Krishna in our life as well. We have to see it, how Krishna appears at different circumstances. He sends so many wonderful conditions for us, although they may not be materially satisfying for us, but still that's manifestation of Krishna in our heart. For what? For purification. And with this purification, when we are pure in heart, he can enter this heart. Otherwise, without this purity, we cannot do anything. So this is special manifestation of Krishna in our heart, in our life. These different conditions, different circumstances, which he sends to us. And he revealed himself in this condition, in different forms. So to see him, to understand him, we have to have this wonderful feeling, which is called samutsuka, and it's also explained by Śrīla Svarūpa Gosvāmī in the 10th canto. This great eagerness to be with Krishna, samutsuka, irresistible, when I want with all my heart. And this is like an iron. The spiritual intelligence, it's also described and explained by Prahlāda Maharaj. How my intelligence is different from your. He addresses his teachers, Sanda and Amarga. My intelligence is like an iron. It's dragged towards the magnet of Krishna's personality. I cannot do anything. So this is samutsuka, the great eagerness to be always with Krishna. It's like this drive of the iron to magnet. This is already characteristic of spiritual intelligence. So this Viveka Shakti, or ability to recognize where Krishna, where there is no Krishna, given to us to always search for Krishna. Finally, Viveka has three functions, or three Shakti: Smriti, Vichar, and Viveka. The memory, the ability to reason, ability to analyze what is given into memory, and then ability to recognize what is good, what is not, what to accept, what not to accept, and where to go. This is the Viveka Shakti. So when the spiritual intelligence is already developed, then this Viveka Shakti is so prominent. We always strive only for Krishna. We always aim only on Krishna. All our activities just driven by this desire by Samutsuka to be always with Krishna. And then we become like Gosvāmī of Vrindavan. He Rādhe Vraja Devi ke Chalalite, He Nanda Sunakutaha, Shigavartana Pada Patapatale, Kalindina Vane Stutaha. So, where are you, Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī? Where are you, Vraja Gopikas? Where are you all? Where are you, son of Nanda? Śrī Kṛṣṇa, either you're on the slopes of Govardhan or on the banks of Yamuna. Although they directly see Krishna, they're on the topmost level of Mahabhagavata, the eternal associates of the Lord, but still they were driven by these feelings, samutsuka, great eagerness to see again and again, because on the level of Mahabhava, even despite of the living entity having this wonderful relationship with the Lord constantly on the level of heart, it's not enough, it's not enough. They're always in search of the Lord again and again. This is the characteristic of the spiritual intelligence which is required for Krishna to appear there. Krishna appears in the working of our spiritual intelligence, in the ability to always search for the Lord in our life. So we have to appreciate developing this spiritual intelligence. We have to see how the Lord appears, how the Lord manifests in our life, in different personalities which act in some particular way towards us, in different circumstances. We can see how He helps us to overcome all the circumstances, to come out from all these different material waves on the surface of our life victorious, purified, endowed with better qualities. So all of this is manifestation of Krishna in our heart, and then we can have this wonderful exchange with Him, exchanging Radha, exchanging Ananda. So I tried a little bit, because we can speak eternally on this topic of the relationship between Radha and Krishna. So we have to stop here, and if you have any questions or comments or want to add something.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. It's a nice verse from the confirmation reason for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance, Rādhā Kṛṣṇa ātmā, dui deho dhari. My query is that even in only in our sampradaya, like Gaudiya sampradaya, Radharani is worshipped. And in our sampradaya, Madhavacharya also our acharya. And if you go to Udupi, and we see only Krishna standing alone, without Radharani. And in other sampradaya also, like Sri Sampradaya, like Rudra Sampradaya, and in Kumar Sampradaya also, Radharani is not worshipped. There is no position. So how we can reconcile that, Mataji?
Because only Lord Chaitanya gave something which was not given before. And this is Vraja Bhakti. Only in our sampradaya, coming from Lord Chaitanya, is given the highest, which was hidden. Neither in Ramanuja's teaching nor in Madhva teaching. We will not find this highest relationship with the Lord given there in the teachings of acharyas. And because it's the highest, and the highest devotee is Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, she has to be there in the picture. But because it was not given before, she's not in the picture. So these highest relationships, they naturally connected with her because she's the highest on the horizon of devotion. No any other personality, no any other devotee higher than her. She's the topmost. Therefore, whenever we speak about the highest, there will be presence of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. unavoidable. And because Lord Chaitanya gave the highest, immediately we are in the picture as a servant of these two, which assume different body to be able to relish their relationship. So we are the servants. We don't develop our love for them. We develop our love for their love. Because Lord Chaitanya came to give the servitorship to Rādhā and Kṛṣṇa. You cannot serve Rādhā and Kṛṣṇa without being in the same body as Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. He came to give also Manjari Bhava, which he himself experienced. There are two, this highest position on the horizon of devotion, the topmost servant in Madhurya Rasa and the servant of the topmost servant in Madhurya Rasa. Means Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī and the Manjari. For himself, he took the emotions of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī and the goal of his appearance was to relish it. There was three, this most confidential reason for his appearance. So what is there in the love of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī which made Krishna mad for this love, literally speaking? What is the nature of love of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī? This is the first reason. Even Krishna endowed with omniscient. He is omnipotent. He knows everything. Still, even as Krishna, in this capacity, as a Supreme Personality of Godhead, Śrī Kṛṣṇa, original Lord, he cannot understand this nature. Therefore, he comes in very special form, endowed with this wonderful emotion, Rādhā Bhava Dhyuti Suvalitam Naumi Krishna Svarūtam, endowed with Bhava of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī and Bhava and duty, the wonderful golden hue of the body of Lord Chaitanya is also the gift of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, so that Krishna could understand the nature of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. The first is the nature he cannot understand. It's most confidential thing. We didn't even touch the nature of this love of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, although it's vividly described by Krishnadas Kaviraj. He puts in the lips of Krishna all this wonderful discussion about the nature of love. There is no even trace of love there. It's faultless. It's like a molten gold. Probably some other speakers will elaborate on this. And then what is there which she enjoys so much? What is there in me? What is my sweetness? I cannot even touch my sweetness. I can see my reflection in some polished stones in Dvaraka, but I cannot relish it. I can understand it's very beautiful. And I admire the personalities who can see my beauty every day, at every moment. So Krishna becomes jealous towards his devotee. He wants to understand his own beauty. And he also wants to understand how they enjoy this beauty, how they enjoy this sweetness, what they experience, what they feel, which bliss they feel. And he says that my devotee experienced 10 million times more bliss and happiness in giving me this love than I accepting this love. So he wants to understand this tree, and this is highest was given by Lord Chaitanya. Therefore, Radharani was not there, because it was not her realm, her height of the relationship. Like this.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thanks for beautifully explaining this Radha Tattva, although it is very tough to explain and to understand this Tattva. You touched one point of different energies of Krishna. So my question is like this, according to Gaudiya Sampradaya, Krishna has only one energy, that is Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. Rest of energies are expansion, especially this material energy and marginal energy. Or Krishna has different energies, and Radharani is one of them. So this confusion.
Radha is all of them. Actually, she is Tri Shakti. She is a personification of material energy, spiritual energy, means internal energy, and Jiva Tattva. All of them. She is all the Shaktis, and all other Shaktis coming from him. He is a source, he is a fountainhead of all other Shaktis. But for her, personally, he has chosen Hladini Shakti, because Hladini Shakti gives a much joy to Krishna. But she is everything. She is a source of all other Shakti. She contains all other Shaktis as well. But technically, the Jiva Shakti comes from Balaram, that we know the first expansion of Krishna, and through Mahavishnu they appear in this world. Technically it's like this, but everything comes, all the Shaktis, all the energies, they come from Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī.
So,
through Balarama.
So
it's technically, they divide like representation of these different Shaktis. Balarama represents Sandhini. He took Sandhini, which manifest all the eternal associates of the Lord, all the Dhammas, all spiritual world and the material world that's coming from Balarama. That it originally, Radha giving all this to him, to Lord, over, to represent Sandhini Shakti, and through Sandhini Shakti to create all these things. But this is here.
So, Madhik, can you give me any reference in the scriptures where it is mentioned that all jivas are coming from Balram? Because sometimes it is confusion, like all jivas are coming from expansion of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī or through Balram. Because can you give me any reference?
We can okay. That's in Lakhu Bhagavatamrita. It's explained in Lakhu Bhagavatamrita in very details how they relate to each other, how all this manifestation come from their different energies. We have to study this scripture, so we got it from Lakhu Bhagavatamrita, and it's explained where it's explained. It's very difficult that way. It's very tough to understand this, but she is be all and end all for Lord Krishna in everything. So she's embodiment of all the Shaktis as well. She has this ability, therefore she has this ability to attract the most attractive. Sarva Kanti Samohita. Sarva Kanti. Kanti means energy of beauty, but it's not just beauty, everything. 5 kinds of beauty, the qualities of beauty, the beauty of the character, and then different kinds of beauty they are there. That's energy of Kanti, so she's Sarva Kanti. By all these energies, they can attract Krishna, because all this energy comes from him. And only she, who is the embodiment, the source of all this energy, can give all these sources, can give all these energies to Krishna to enjoy this. Therefore, he is fully satisfied with here. Thank you so much.